On today's episode, we talked about companies trying to steal traffic from other sites. What is Homes.com's big plan? A housing market update. How lower interest rates are going to cause madness in the market. The 3 different types of real estate agents and which one are you? Our advice, market minute, and the Neuralink. Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. I am Kayla Leos here with Elliot Tomaszewski and Jason Leos.
Hey.
Yeah, welcome to the Riggedy Real Estate Rundown.
Oh, Elliot's getting fancy. So we are missing Keith today, and
Again.
It was 2 weeks in a
week.
row. But hey,
Does he do this on purpose?
Yeah.
He doesn't like us anymore?
He doesn't come in on podcast day. Where are you, Keith? You coming back? He'll be back next week.
It's a man on a mission.
But a lot happening, a lot shaking and baking in the real estate world. And Redfin just came out with some analysis that said home buyers now have about $40,000 more purchasing power. So if you're looking to buy a home, maybe it's not so much of a pipe dream, and it can actually be the American dream. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, math, right? Tells me $40,000 at roughly $6 per thousand. So that means that the rates have adjusted roughly, 6 times 4, $240 a month worth of payment. So now the people that with those lower rates, the median income, that's where it balances. So, I mean, it's obviously a math equation. But the other thing I will point out, now that I'm done with the nerd evaluation side of it, is can $40,000 put you into a different bracket, right? Does it give you that larger yard? Does it give you that newer house? Does it get you into that different subdivision that you want to be in that you're actually going to pull the trigger on?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I guess it hey.
I mean, not from what depending on what
jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, all real estate is local. And so I guess it depends on your local market.
Absolutely,
but maybe we're thinking in the Chandler, Gilbert, Queen Creek area, maybe not. Maybe 40,000 doesn't move the needle as much.
No.
Get you 50 square feet extra.
That's as good.
That's it.
But like in Texas, right? Parts of Texas, if we're
Maybe 100.
Omitting Austin and surrounding areas, outside of that, Texas definitely would. Parts of Florida, 40K would definitely make a difference in the style of the house, the niceness of the house.
Yeah. So, we know that Fannie Mae revised their interest rate forecasts for 2024, and they're definitely more optimistic about rates being in the 5s towards the end of the year.
Yeah, the Fed's meeting today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Today's the day.
Is it the dot plot day? Dun,
No,
dun, dun.
dot plot day.
We don't dot plot today?
I don't think they dot plot. They dot plot, I think once every quarter.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're meeting today. Yeah. See what happens. See what they say.
And
I mean, I don't think there's any way they're gonna.
There's not
reduce rates today.
No, that's not gonna happen
but,
today.
The March deadline or the March rate decrease is like up in the air. It's like it went from like 44% to like 48% in the last couple days. So more and more people are thinking that it's gonna come in March. So we'll see. If it comes in March, I think it's gonna be good.
I just thought of another really cool advantage. I mean, I don't want to call it unfair, but good for them. Cool advantage for like a Redfin, Realtor.com, Zillow. When the feds and all that meet, think about it. They'll be able to see the impact of what the news is because it'll spike the traffic, right? So they could clearly see what's going on, and they clearly are going to have the metrics, knowing that when there's a spike, usually is going to equal X return. So, I don't know. Just another.
It's interesting, though, because speaking of traffic in the portal wars, I was on a strategy call yesterday with a company that advises venture capital. And one of the questions they posed to everyone, and actually a buddy of ours was on it, and he was talking about the portal that, the one he would be talking about. Anyway, they talked about how Homes.com came in, and in the past 6 months, I think they spent, I don't know the exact number, don't quote me on, $300 million, $400 million to essentially siphon traffic away from Zillow, traffic away from Realtor.com, and they did it. Right, they're number 2 in the eyeballs right now.
I think I heard about that. I don't remember where I heard about that somewhere else.
Housing Wire did a big thing on it.
Maybe that's okay.
And
Yeah,
so
Andy Florence is really
Well,
making moves.
He is.
He is.
He is. And so at Inman last week, Andy Florence was talking about, essentially their mission and what they're out to accomplish. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting your
yeah.
listing, your lead ads on everything,
Yep.
even on my Instagram, like big ads. Like I'll be on my For You page and like the Instagram homes.com ad will be massive.
I wonder how much they're paying Glenda.
And then
making bank.
Glenda Baker
Dude,
is
I know.
She's really raking it in.
I love, but her story's so cool, especially because she
We
was
know
already a
Glenda,
little bit of somebody,
right.
but she blew up.
So when you talk about the eyeballs and when you talk about how obviously Redfin's going to see an uptick in search traffic and all of that, and clearly, like, in my opinion, Redfin has an amazing site. I think we all love it. Also love
yeah.
Realtor.com. And in fact, I think that usability from those two is getting better than Zillow. In fact, one of the things I don't like about Zillow is how if you go search a property and it's not on the market, that listing just kind of like pops up in a window. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about? And like you
Yep.
kind of like don't have that full functionality of the page like you would if you were on like Redfin or Realtor.
Yep.
But anyway, I digress. The interesting thing about this search traffic is Homes.com hasn't monetized, period, yet on this. And so like
It's all investment.
what is their play for
Absolutely.
monetization? And will that serve the realtor community?
Well, we know what the play is for monetization by looking at their other business, CoStar, which is charging the agents, $2,000 a month. To
Well, and I think that this is
put the property on.
something that is not known in the industry that well. I think unless you're a little bit deeper in it. But CoStar is like what, double, triple the value of Zillow? Like they're by far and away the gorilla in the room when it comes to like valuations.
I don't know. You're absolutely right. I don't know what it is. Let me look at CoStar right now because I couldn't tell you.
Is it 25 billion market cap, maybe? What is CoStar? And that is Andy Florence's commercial.
34
34
billion.
Okay.
Okay, so compare that to
Zillow's what, like 12, 15?
13.3, let's call it.
So it's over double.
Over double.
Yeah.
Yep.
Almost triple.
But the thing with CoStar is they're profitable. Zillow's not. They're raking in dough every freaking quarter.
What do you think
Whereas
the
Zillow's,
No.
they're
But-
just yeah.
What do you think the asset class size of commercial is compared to residential though? It's probably a lot bigger.
Yeah. But I mean, I think we're coming up to a commercial bubble too. So.
Well,
There's a
heck
lot-
yeah, we are.
I'm reading that
All
there's
the
there's a lot of loans that are up by the end of the year, and everyone's going like, get the rates down.
Is this going to be like another SVB debacle?
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, and
We'll
that's
see.
that's like one of those skeletons in the closet that I think that the economy's not talking about. Because when we're talking about the asset class on that, if it pops and something doesn't get figured out, how far that will roll downhill will be pretty substantial. It'll affect all markets, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, the government will come in there and print some more money.
Oh my
It is an
goodness.
election. But then
Bitcoin will go up.
Yes,
the
sir.
moon.
Buy Ethereum, buy Bitcoin.
Oh, wow. When they decoupled gold from the dollar, it was all downhill from there.
Well, was that 60s? 70s?
Nixon, during the
Yeah, off the
Vietnam
gold standard, yeah.
War. So, okay, also some updates in housing market forecasts. So Moody's walked back their bearish 2024 housing market forecast. And so it's a little bit rosier now, which is interesting because, see, before they were expecting home prices to fall about 4.4%, and they've walked it back and said home prices will only fall by about 0.4%. So in other words, we're going to have a fairly flat year.
But in other words, Moody's is in a good mood right now. Right. They're in a good mood with the real estate market.
I think this is great
They're
because
walking it back.
I think the whole point is they just throw this stuff out there and see
Yeah.
what sticks, and they don't expect to be right. No, I don't know. I don't know what the
Yeah.
deal is, but I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, I still think that, I mean, don't get me wrong, all of this stuff obviously matters from the larger overview so much, but I still think that there's just a cool opportunity for true practitioners, right? This is, to me, where you have some of these niche
always
things.
is.
Exactly, where you could find the angle and you're going to get your unfair advantage because of the high rates, because you can show people how to get a lower rate, right? Or just, I'm using that as a small example. But that's where, again, just these plays that are there, but it does set the tone for how easy it is to have a conversation, right? When affordability is way up, it's harder to have a conversation. When affordability is down, it's easier to put yourself in, acquisition, selling conversations. So those are things to pay attention to, which is where I think that whole economic pulse, kind of comes from. And it's like, your vibe is your tribe, kind of thing. And so if it's vibing right, then you can connect with your tribe.
Yeah, there's 6 rate cuts baked in the market right now this year, and I think if you don't, I'd be buying right now. If you're gonna buy, you need to buy something right now.
Right. If you thought getting the pink Stanley at Target was tough, wait until you try buying a house when interest rates go down.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be insane.
Yeah, let's talk a little theory of this, because I think that some people are actually missing it, right? Like that whole expression of sitting on the fence is a very uncomfortable place to be. Get off one way or the other. And here's my just quick 5-second perspective on it. There is absolutely more ups and opportunity right now. And even if you take a higher rate, let's be real, you could always, if it's, going to make sense, you could always refinance when rates go, marry the house, date the rate, kind of.
Unless there's a 5-year prepay penalty.
Right. So don't put, so be smart enough. Be smart enough that you don't put yourself in that situation. Absolutely true. But my point is that I'm trying to get at is when you really look at the affordability index, well, when prices spike by $100K, well, we're talking about $40,000 here. And even though the rates drop, let's just say 0.5% or 0.75 of a point, well, if that drives prices up and you no longer get the house that you want, you're having to put, go look at 50 houses to get even one offer accepted, right? It's just it's a cumbersome experience where now there's not as much competition. There's a bigger buying pool. You're more likely going to get the property that you want. Then you're able to potentially refi if that's what you want to do. Or you have a slightly higher payment, but we're talking about a quarter of a difference in rate. So
no doubt that realtors are wonderful at inspiring conversations. I was listening to a podcast this morning. Christy Jenks was on Tom Ferry's podcast, and she talked about how there are 3 types of agents. I thought this was really good. So the first type of agent is the agent that's out there in this market, and they're just confused. And rightfully so. I mean, there's a lot going on, and it's one of the most tumultuous times ever in real estate. I mean, the market is abnormal, which it has been for the past, 4 years, essentially. Market's abnormal. You have all these commission lawsuits. We're looking at massive reshuffling. You have these new models that are popping up. And if you're a realtor and you're out there practicing, you have a lot of confusion you're sorting through.
I'm confused.
It is confusing. I also learned that the 20th copycat commission lawsuit was filed. Wow. And now there are copycat commission lawsuits filed all across the U.S. And if you
confusion and fear.
Yeah, and if you don't have one in your state yet, you will. Just wait. It's coming. So you have a lot of agents that are confused. And what do we know about the confused mind? It does nothing. And you have the second group of agents, and those are the complainers. And those are the agents that are out there. And
those
they're
the annoying ones.
They're the ones.
They're trying to justify for their shitty results.
Absolutely. They're complaining. They complain about NAR. They complain about their brokerage. They complain about the market. And they
complain about buyers.
Point to everything and anything they can to complain. And then you have the third type of agent. And I think fortunately we get to work with a lot of this type of agent. And maybe they come in a little confused. Maybe they come in a little bit complaining. But I think that once they're in our ecosystem and really a part of all that we have to offer here, you have the confident agent.
Yep.
And for the agent that is confident, this is your time to shine, to crush it, because in the midst of all of this confusion, there is a land of opportunity. Nobody likes change. I heard something that the only person that likes change is a wet baby. Yep. And if you're not that wet baby, you avoid change. But the reality is it's the only constant in life. And so as we have all this change happening in our industry, we have to adapt to it. And so what's our advice to the agents that are listening right now that may find themselves in the confused or complaining category?
Change your diaper. Start reading. Figuring things out.
All right, reading what?
Sharpen the saw.
Figuring out what's going on, like where the sellers are, where the buyers are. You got to find out where the market's going. You got to be one step ahead.
Skate to where the puck is going.
Yes.
That's right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, first of all, shout out to Christy Jenks. She's awesome. I love her. She's very insightful. Her and Meryl are awesome. For me, I mean, this actually, kind of, I think, gives me an awesome opportunity to segue into my advice with what you were saying there. however, before I go into that piece, I think it's a fine line, because I love what you said, Jay, but I also think it's a fine line between people that are analysis paralysis and start procrastinating, right? They'll get caught up in the thick of the thin of things, where they are looking so much for the specific angle that becomes their job, and that gives them the excuse to not get into action in said specific area, right? When we're talking about marketing, prospecting, right? At the end of the day, it still comes down to that one simple thing. Are you communicating your value proposition in a meaningful way to the proper audience, period? And so I think that, right now is also taking your opportunities that you have, but you also got to follow up with people. That is my advice, is fortune is in the follow-up, because so many times people will try to touch somebody once or, a couple of times, but there's so much, stats, surveys out there now that it's, between 7 and 11 times that you have to touch somebody before they even see your message. Right? And now that could be, think about all the different mediums that we have: social media, advertising, paid, obviously paid advertising, emails, text messages, a phone call, right? All of these different segments to be able to reach out to these people. Well, my emphatic advice here is when they connect with those things, bring the conversation to them. One of the biggest things I see missed in social media is you guys are posting, right? Let's say it's even just, free posting, and somebody will like or comment on your stuff, and you'll just kind of leave it dead and dormant. Well, if they do that, then reach back out to them, right? And people want to engage in these types of things, and especially if it's somebody that you have little or not that much of a relationship with. And so with that said, you need something of value to consistently touch people. And right now we actually have a free cash offer seller lead generation campaign that you guys can go download. I'll have Kobe put it in the comments on this to where you can download that. And again, it's 100% free. It's copy and paste, easily put it into your CRM to help you out with everything that I'm talking about.
Nice.
Very cool. Yes. Love it. Great advice.
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 All right, Jason, what do you got for us for the Market Minute?
I already said it. The Fed's meeting today.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. So,
Dun,
don't know
dun,
what's
dun.
going to happen. We'll see.
Okay. So Viral Vibes is a little bit interesting today because this went nuts all over online yesterday. So Elon Musk announced that the first Neuralink was surgically implanted into a patient, and the patient is now recovering. So we have...
Where are they recovering from?
The
implant of the surgery.
implementation.
Oh, how deep is it? Like,
It's-
you got to recover from that?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
they
going
ha-
into your brain.
Yeah, they had to
Crack
they-
your skull.
Yeah, they cracked drilled a hole
wow.
in the skull.
Wow, that's pretty intense. So and then they connect it to the brain.
It says that it's a quarter-size chip implant with dozens of tiny thread-like electrodes. The electrodes are then implanted into the brain itself, and they relay electrical signals from neurons. So
Is the person like a paraplegic?
Pretty
What's what are they trying to fix?
yes, so initially that they're hoping that they'll regain use of their limbs.
Oh, okay.
So
So this person's a paraplegic.
Yes,
or
how amazing would that be?
Wow.
It'd be,
Yeah, that's cool.
Dude, if this takes, it will revolutionize.
Musk is amazing. He's always trying to pull
You know what though?
rabbits out of a hat.
A lot of people do not like him.
Which, how do you not like him? Like, I get it that he could be controversial and all of, some of the things, but at the same time,
Well, they don't like him because, here's the thing. It's not that people don't like him. It's the mainstream media that doesn't like him.
Yes.
And the reason why they don't like him.
I disagree because I
well,
saw something.
there's a reason why they don't like him is because he doesn't spend money. And the companies that do spend the money with these organizations, like all the mainstream media, they all get advertising dollars from GM, Ford, Stellantis, which is Chrysler, all these billions of dollars. So if they don't say something bad about Elon Musk or they don't drag him through the mud, then they're hurting their own the companies that are feeding them all the billions of dollars of advertising. So that's what's going on.
So someone had posted a video, some guy I follow, he's a realtor out of, I think, like, I'm not sure actually, so I'm not going to make it up. But anyway, he had posted about how he likes Elon, his wife doesn't like Elon, and he like polled his audience. And I was reading through a lot of the comments, and there are actually a lot of common people that do not like him for one reason or another. One of the people was very passionate that they think that he scammed California with the Hyperloop and lost them like, millions and millions of dollars because of this. And so there's like all these different reasons. I don't think it's as cut and dry as it's the media.
They have the biggest manufacturer of cars in the world going on in California, which is bringing billions of dollars worth of tax dollars. That's the one in Silicon Valley, the Tesla plant, makes the most cars in the world in one plant, and that's where it's coming from. I mean, come on.
Well,
how much
and the
money
whole theory
is California getting from that? All right, probably a lot.
I read in his book.
I'm just sharing the other side.
I read in his book about that whole
they
crap
don't know it. They don't know
with the Hyperloop, and he actually, per as it was told, it started out as just like a theory, and he was almost kind of having fun with it, and then they pushed to try to basically make it happen. And I'm paraphrasing here off of what I recall in the book, but I mean it is a pretty cool idea, but. To your point, how cool would it be to? I mean, that you're almost hard pressed to find somebody right now that's more influential than that guy. He says something, and it literally changes the world.
Oh, I know.
Has
like
influence.
Jason has to constantly be watching for what he tweets or what do you call it? He X's. What do you call a Twitter now?
I think they still call them
Tweets.
tweets.
Yeah. You're constantly
Twex.
if you get a
You're
tweet.
twexing.
If you get a tweet from Elon, your portfolio could like. Whoo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it happens, you know.
Does that make you frustrated?
No. I mean, he is what he is. I mean, it can't. You're investing in the guy, but he's a very smart dude. He's
That's an understatement.
Yeah, he's the Rockefeller of today's.
He's like Einstein meets Rockefeller. I mean, think about it. I mean, to me, he's like one of those people. He's so smart that sometimes in bigger settings, he has a hard time talking because his brain is moving so damn fast and his mouth isn't working properly. I think with his brain function.
Well,
there's a lot of haters out there.
Love him or hate him, he definitely has created quite a few jobs.
Oh my gosh.
He's added quite a bit to our GDP.
Well, how about even just SpaceX? Sorry to go off on this a second, but everybody wants to talk about Tesla and all those things, but how he's revolutionizing putting satellites up there through SpaceX, which is I mean, Jay, you probably know more about it than me. Again, I'm just going off of the book that I read, where it's like profitable already, or maybe it was this year and it's like wildly profitable.
He's figured out how to reuse a freaking rocket.
Yeah.
So most of the time,
it's all lost money.
People thought he was crazy, thinking you're going to land a rocket after you blasted it off into the atmosphere, and he did it.
Yep.
And so now he's got this technology where he can reuse rockets where NASA couldn't. So now no one else can.
Yep.
So now he can land. Blast off a ship and bring the rocket back down and land it.
And the cost savings is obnoxious.
Reuse it.
Oh, Wasn't there? I sort of watched it when we were up north at that beautiful VRBO we stayed in. You watched? Was it Return to Space?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called.
I don't remember, but it was a documentary about
that.
Elon and SpaceX, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean he literally was almost ready to go bankrupt and lose everything, and he had 3 shots at it, and apparently he got 1 extra shot in the last shot. It landed and it was successful, and so they were able to get contracts from the government to start launching rockets.
See, and I don't know how
cool.
you hate that, right? Like, shame on the America people. I mean, maybe you don't like his personality. Maybe you don't like how he tells you to F off.
It's all about money.
From stage, whatever else.
But
how do you hate the fact that a guy was, uber rich?
Because they're sheep. They're reading mainstream media, and you got to understand why mainstream media hates him. It's because he doesn't pay them.
I get all that, but that's what I'm saying. He's like uber rich, willing to literally go bankrupt trying to develop an idea. because he's that passionate about it. Like, again, I have nothing but admiration for somebody that's willing
Yeah.
to play life at that level.
Well,
Me
and,
too, me
and
too.
he doesn't give a crap about money. The
Agreed.
guy doesn't.
He
I
doesn't.
mean,
He
you
cares
see
about
some, you see
impact.
some of the pictures that he's sitting in, and you're just like, where is that guy? Like, he's in like this normal kitchen with like oak cabinets, like these 1970 oak cabinets, and you see a picture with him with some other billionaire, and like he doesn't
Yep.
stay. He doesn't live
He
rich. I mean,
used
he
to-
has a jet, and obviously
Yeah.
he gets around, but the luxury.
That's only
they
they outline that in his book. That's only for the fact of efficiency and travel and trying to get from job to job
I
and
mean,
all those things.
You're running how many companies that he owns?
So apparently, I just need to bring up Elon, and you two will go at it.
Well, yeah,
You just like,
of course.
we're having a little love fest
I
over
know.
here.
We're crushing.
Here-
Elon, if here's an open invitation. If you want to come on the podcast, dude, we'll let you on.
Yes. Oh, yeah. 100%. Hey, I think that love him or hate him, we can all agree that when it comes to pushing your agenda, your ideas, your passion out into the world, he's an inspiration.
Kingpin.
And so I feel like for all of us realtors that are looking to do big things, channel that energy into your business and really cool things will happen.
Well said.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you are one of the listeners that is not subscribed, I want you to take a moment and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you. Drop us a comment, and maybe we'll feature you on next week's episode.